everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Explore the Spectrum. Today I'm joined with Dr. Sarah. How are you doing?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me.
It's my pleasure. I'm glad to have you. It is a fun conversation, I'm sure, that is about to unfold because you look at things through a different prism of working with parents and teachers, which is something that is close to my heart. And I appreciate the effort that you're making in that side of the world. What brought you into our community to start with?
I think originally I was just really interested in how people think and what makes people tick, as I was going into college. And then I just kind of followed a lot of different opportunities. I ended up in brain injury rehab, and then I ended up in the schools, and then I had my own kids. And then the pandemic hit, fast forwarding lots of time here. And what
Right.
happened, it was my mom said, people don't look at kids the way that you look at kids. And it had just been this combination of my neuroscience background, over 15 years of studying the science of the brain, plus raising kids, plus being in schools, that I just realized, hey, we're not actually raising kids, we're raising little brains. And there's a method for how to build those skills.
Yeah, I agree with you. And so you've backed your way into working some with our kids that have autism, or they might have some other neurological disorders that are interesting, I imagine, to somebody that studies the brain. We're just a fascinating group of people. We try to keep it, fun for you every day. When you're working with them, what are some of the different truths that you've found? If it is, whether it's autism or it's a different special needs, what are some of the things that you found to be underlying causes that are universally applicable?
Well, I think it actually comes down to truth, like you just said. Everyone has their own truth. From a brain perspective, it's really not reality, it's perception. Our perception is made up of from the way our brain is connected. And so really across abilities, what you're really looking at is just the way that that brain is connected, and then how to kind of find out where people are and meet them where they are and bring them up to where they'd like to be. And I think that's really how I approach all kids, my own kids, typical kids, kids on the spectrum, however you want to phrase it. They're really just all different kinds of brains. When I wrote the book Raising Brains, I even put a chapter in there about different brains, because it's really just about figuring out how you work, how your brain works, and then helping you meet the goals that you would like to meet wherever those are. And I think we forget with kids that kids have their own perspective, they have their own goals
Mm.
and their own ways of seeing the world. So we're just really trying to help get them to, the goals that they would like to see eventually.
Sure. So if you're helping parents and teachers, tell me about how that differs. What ways are you helping parents and how could they access learning more from you? And then the same with working with our educators.
Yeah, I think from a parent perspective, sometimes it's really about getting to know the system. If you have a kid with special needs, you know that the school system functions very differently than the medical system. And sometimes that can be really hard to navigate. So a lot of times it's just about understanding the system and then figuring out how to get what you need from that system. I'm a very outside of the box player. I'm not a big rule follower, and schools are really big on the box and rules. And so, I think it's really about helping parents figure out, how do I have a kid who doesn't fit in that box get everything that they need from that system. And I think with parents, or with teachers, excuse me, I think it's about coming outside of that box as well. Figuring out, how do you help kids of all different abilities in your classroom. And the issues teachers are having right now is just the class sizes are getting so much larger. There's lots of different kinds of kids, different kinds of brains. And then teachers have their own brains and their own approaches. And so what I really like to do is just what I do with parents and with kids, is figure out what kind of brain the teacher has, and how they can best serve the kids in their class, coming at things the way that they naturally do and working with those natural brain patterns. I always say, if you're working with natural brain patterns, you're going to be successful. If you try to impose another system or another set of rules on top of a brain that doesn't work that way, it's just like hitting your head against the wall. It's not going to work very well.
Indeed. So if you're a parent or a professional and you're wanting to get a hold of you, what is the best way? Do you have a website that they should go to, or is there social media that they should follow?
Yeah, there's both actually. And I think if you're really interested in building skills instead of managing behavior, I think across the board that's really my jam. Then you can check out our website. It's brainbehaviorbridge.com, and there's lots of information about me, lots of media or blogs or information you can access there, all freebies. And then I'm on Instagram at dr.sarah, Sarahl Allen. And you can find any information there, as well as we have a podcast actually about how to do this in your own home. So it's called What's Happening Here, if you'd like to listen to the way that, our family applies all this brain science to our crazy system we have going on at home.
So, if we were to end on a word of encouragement or a story of victory or something that has defied the odds, what would you like to share with the audience?
I really think you can be whomever you want to be. I think we spend a lot of time trying to look a certain way or appear certain ways. And I really think it's about figuring out how your brain works, what makes you tick, what makes you excited, and going towards the things that make you happy and figuring out how to do that to the best of your ability. Our brains are really set up to go towards things that feel good. So once you figure that part out, everything else tends to fall into place. So no matter what your abilities are or how your brain works, finding the things that make you happy and figuring out how to go down that path is the way to go from a neuroscience standpoint anyway.
I absolutely love that. I love that so much. Thank you so much for spending time with us this afternoon and for sharing a little bit of your world with all of us. I hope that the different professionals and parents that are watching and listening right now do indeed go over to your website. I think it's fascinating. You have so many different ways of support. And we've all learned along the way that our kids' brains all function uniquely different. And as a parent, you get to see that unfold. And I imagine that that's what you've seen, dealt with, and the support services are just invaluable. So please go visit our website, and thank you for joining us this afternoon. And to all of those that are joining us, I appreciate you as well as we continue to explore the possibilities.